Hey everybody, welcome to your first ELA video lesson. I'm hoping that we can take some notes in our ELA journal during this time, and I'm actually going to show you some of the steps on the story that you're going to complete today. So that'll be really nice to help you start with the assignment. You don't have to do it all by yourself, but I'll help you a little bit today. So 2 things you're going to need to be successful with this video. First thing is your ELA journal. If you don't have that already, please pause the video and go get that. But before you pause, make sure you also have a pencil ready to take notes. Behind me, you can see that I have the whiteboard with our target up for today. We're going to work on 2 skills today. They're both review, but I'm going to give you a little bit different way. We're going to practice it today because it is a different text. And so hopefully this will help you out with your assignments. So the ELA skills first learning target says, I can compare and contrast 2 events from the text. And then the second thing we're going to work on today is I can use context clues to define new words. So 2 skills we have today. We'll go through and we'll take notes on both of them so you know what part is for which part of the assignment. Okay, I'm going to flip my camera over so you can see my ELA journal, but turn to the first blank page and then I will catch up with you when I flip my camera here. Okay, pardon me if it gets a little blurry. It will focus, and you can always pause the video, which is really nice. You can't do that in class, so it's a perk from doing the video. So today's date is 4/22/20. And the title of our notes today is going to be Compare and Contrast. We've done this before, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the notes, but I am going to give you some words to look for in the text to help you out to determine if it's something they have in common or something that's different. So first thing we're going to look for is comparing words. These are words you find in the text that tell you that they're trying to compare 2 things. So they would be similar or the same. Let's use the example of a dog. Let's say my dog has brown fur and your dog also has brown fur. We would say that they both have brown fur. Or we could say, similar fur colors. Or my dog has the same color fur as your dog. My dog also has brown fur. Or another word to say is to add to the end. Okay, the last phrase I have for you is as well as. My dog has brown fur as well as your dog. Comparing similar or the same. Okay, on the other side of that, or what I could say is, on the other hand, contrasting words are words that show that things are different. Let's say we're going to contrast the length of our hair. I have long hair, you have short hair. Whether you actually do or not, you know, but we're just going to use that as an example. So you can say, I have long hair, however, you have short hair. In contrast, you have short hair. Contrast, contrasting. Notice the root word is the same there. Okay, differ is another word very close to the word different. You have different length hair than I do. I have long hair while you have short hair, or whereas you have short hair. Okay, I said this one before. On the other hand, I have long hair, and on the other hand, you have short hair. The last ones you could write in here are but, yet, those types of words. All right, the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you a visual model on how you can record these. We've done this before, like I said, but let's just make a little Venn diagram. This is very similar to the assignment I gave you on Google Classroom. The only difference is I can't really do circles very well on there, so I just did like a T-chart, so boxes. But it's the same setup where there's one on the outside, and in the middle is the same. The outsides are how they are different. We have not read the text to take notes on here, but I'm just going to use an example. Let's say we're going to compare me and you. You can write Miss B in one, and then why don't you write your name in the other box? Okay. Let's say, well, Miss Bergstrom is a teacher, whereas I am a student. I can say, well, we both go to Washington Elementary. If you want to pause it and fill that in, feel free to do so. It's kind of neat to see things people have in common and things that people are different. Okay. If you need to, you can pause the video to get caught up on the notes. I'm going to move on and I'm going to show you the assignment that I have put on there for you, comparing and contrasting from the text. So on here you see it says forests on fire, and I'm going to click to the assignment and read the directions. It says compare, let me pull up my little laser pointer for you. It says compare the positive and negative effects of rainstorms and wildfires, and then it wants you to use details from the text in each box. So this would be like a Venn diagram with one circle and the other circle, how they overlap here. That's what they both have in common, or what is the same. So I'm going to go back to the text, and I'm going to look for where it compares the two. Move over here. So one clue I saw when I was reading this the first time was that it says, like rainstorms, wildfires are a force of nature. This word like is actually a context clue to help me figure out that they are both a force of nature. So let me flip back to my notes page here, and you can actually use this same detail that I'm using. I'm just going to paraphrase, but you're going to use evidence from the text. They are both a force of nature. Period. Now what I need to do is I need to find a detail for rainstorms that's opposite a detail from wildfires. So let's go back to the text, and I'm going to see. Let me click on my little laser pointer so you can see where I'm reading. It says, however, unlike rainstorms, wildfires are almost always destructive. In here, I learned that wildfires are almost always destructive, but I also learned that that is unlike rainstorms. That prefix un tells me not like. So that would be where we're contrasting. Wildfires are almost always destructive. That's the detail I'm going to use on here. Wildfires, they are, and I can actually quote this one because I remember what it said, or I can look back to. So quotation marks here. They are almost always destructive. I know it's being kind of funky, but we'll just be patient. Okay. Awesome. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the opposite because I know that they are not destructive. They are not destructive. There we go. We already got one detail. So your job is to go back in the text and find a couple more details. I was reading this, and there's some really good clues that you can do to practice this skill. Okay, so on there, fill out the rest of this box here, and then you're going to follow the directions here. It says reread the human factor on page 341 and compare and contrast the impacts that humans have on fires. So a little bit more specific with that, okay? On the next page, we're going to move on to part 2. So on here, it's talking about the vocabulary strategy. From our notes earlier, we know that we're going to be working on context clues. So let me read the directions. It says, reread each part of the text to define the words in the chart below. Be sure to use context clues to help. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some notes on context clues. So I'm going to flip my camera back here to my note page, and I'm going to turn in my journal to my next blank page. We'll still have the same date here. And we're going to review context clues. Let me straighten that out for you. Awesome. Context clues equals, that's their definition, clues that good readers use to find the meaning to unknown words. Okay, so we're looking for clues, and we're going to figure out unknown words. All right, things we're going to look for. I'm going to do like a little magnifying glass, not the best drawing I've ever done, but you're going to look for, maybe there's going to be picture clues. You can also look for helping words. Or, like, as, we know this one, comma, or means synonyms coming. Maybe you can look for words that you know. Maybe they give you examples or definitions. The last one is you can look for synonyms or antonyms. Okay, what are same or opposite meanings? I'll let you catch up there. I'm going to give you one example we're going to put on this page, and then I'll show you the last part of our video is going to be the example from the text. So I'll do one of those for you. All right. The one we're going to focus on for 5th grade is the use of making an inference or drawing an inference. So let's just do example here. EX stands for example. And let's write down this sentence. It says, the tragic, and you can underline that word because we're going to try to define that using context clues. The tragic ending to the story made the woman cry. Okay, so an inference is where you read, you think about what do you know about that sentence or about the text and draw a conclusion about it. So it doesn't tell me what the word tragic means, but I know that if I'm reading the end of a story and it made me cry, then tragic must mean it's like sad or dreadful or not positive. Those are what I would define as tragic. I'll push it up there so you can see that. Okay, we can use inferences to determine the meaning of new words. So I'm going to flip back to the text. I know we're going back and forth, but I think it's good to take some notes before we start. We're going to use these things to help us figure out the meaning of a couple words on our assignment page. So let me go back here. And let's see, we're going to look up the word mature on page 340. So I'll turn to that page on my text, and you can just watch and think about what am I doing to define this word. So first, you got to find the word on the page. I'm going to use my laser pointer so you can see where I'm reading. And the word mature is right here. So I'm going to read that whole paragraph because there might be clues in the whole paragraph. So it says, fire also releases nutrients back into the soil, making it more fertile. And by eliminating leafy canopies of mature trees, fire allows nourishing sunlight to reach a forest floor. When I'm trying to figure out what that mature word means, I can look at what it's connected to. I see that mature goes right before the word trees. So I know that that is an adjective or a describing word of trees. And it says if they're going to be eliminating or taking away the leafy canopies, I know that, well, leafy means like all of their branches probably. And it says it will allow the sunlight to reach the floor of the forest. So, what kind of trees have a lot of leaves? I'm thinking that's probably fully grown trees. Mature probably means fully grown because those kinds of trees have enough leaves that would cover the forest floor. So here's how I would answer that question. Let me go back here. I would say, I think the word mature might mean, let's say, fully grown. Because I know that fully grown trees have big leaves that would cover the ground. Okay, just got to fix that up a little bit. I think that overall I typed a pretty good job on here. Cover the ground. Okay, once I'm done typing, I'm going to make sure I have periods and things like that, and then I will reread it and see if that makes sense. I think the word mature might mean fully grown because I know that fully grown trees have big leaves that would cover the ground. I would say that that's a quality answer for that. I used the context clues of the big leaves and covering the ground, and it helped support my answer. So your job is to work on the last three, completing it just kind of how I did. So you heard what I was saying and how I was talking about that, and you'll finish this page and you can turn it in and you're good to go for that. So I'm going back to the notes here. I'm going to flip my camera here so you can see my face again. I hope that was helpful for you. If you have questions about the assignment, please ask. I would rather you ask about it. If you really try your best and it's really hard for you and you really just can't figure it out on your own or want to just double check and see if you're doing it correctly, please ask because I'm going to have to start grading some of the things you're turning in. And if you don't understand it from this video, first, try watching it again maybe. Maybe slow it down. I know you can do that on YouTube. And then second, you can ask me for help if you need it. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.